everyone, it's Kathy Champion, and you're back with me here on my YouTube channel, Kathy's Random Acts of Stamping. As you all know, I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I'm located here in the beautiful state of North Carolina, and I welcome you in. On our last video, part 1 of our photo box, we were at this point, but if you notice, there's a change in color, and there's a reason for that. I had to go back and find out what I was doing wrong because I kept working my mechanism and it wasn't coming out the way I wanted it to. So in the process of me trying this like 3 different times, I got it right, and so I recut my paper, and because I no longer had enough of the Blushing Bride, which note I need to order some, I went ahead and went with the inserts, my dividers, to be the same color as my outside. I also in the process learned that if you're using pattern paper, the part that pulls out that you're going to see is the back, not the side you're gluing to. So if you want that side to show, make sure that your valleys and mountains are falling here. So you have 6 valleys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 mountains, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now if you are using the other side, you won't have that. You'll have 7 valleys and 6 mountains. So what you want to do is make sure you glue to the side that you do not want to see when you pull out your piece. So I'm gluing to the Crushed Curry or Bumblebee. I'm not sure which one that is, but it's one of those. So I've got this already done and set up the way I want it. I did not put any type of mat on my dividers. I'm leaving them blank for right now. And what you're going to want to do is with this piece sitting like this, you're going to want to put these pieces in and make sure you glue them to the front. This is a crucial step in putting this together. So basically you put this down and then you push this forward. Now I'm going to turn mine around because I find it easier to work with if I'm holding it in this direction. But you do what works for you because everybody crafts different. And because I know this, there's really no right or wrong as long as you have your pieces going in the right direction. So let me find my Take Your Pick tool, and I know, here it is. And all I'm going to do is lift the backers off of each one of these, and I'm going to put them in. So make sure you put your tape on the side that's going to be to the front. That's in case you're using pattern paper. But I'm just going to sit it against that back piece all the way into that crease, making sure that it's even on both sides. And when I got it, I'm just going to press that up. Now your pieces are going to fall over, and that's going to help reveal the next valley because you got one glued in here, so the next one's going to go right there. So again, we're going to do the same thing all the way up. I'm going to lay it against the back, make sure it's nice and even. When it is, then I'm going to push that to the front. That's another piece in. So we'll just keep going. I could not believe how cool it was when I woke up this morning. It was registering at 7:30. Yeah, I slept in this morning. I'm usually always up by 6, but I've been feeling tired lately. And I don't know if it's a change in the weather or just what it is, but actually I slept till 7:30, which is quite unheard for me because my puppy dogs usually have me up bright and early. But they slept in too. I think it's because it was cold. So once I get that like I want it, I'm just going to bring that in, and we have 2 more. And the reason I'm showing you how I'm doing this on camera, I want to make sure you get this part. This is the hardest and probably most crucial part of making this, is getting your pieces in, and you got to be consistent. So you got to make sure that you're gluing them in the right direction each time. If not, you will have trouble with your mechanism not working properly. So I would say when you get to this part, pull the video up and just follow me all the way through this part of it. So when you're finished, you should have one flap that's just a one flap, and you should have two that has two score lines. So no score line and one score line is what I meant. It's like you've got 2 1/2-inch pieces right there, and here you only have the one. Now where we have the one, I'm going to put a piece of tape on it because I want to just glue this down. So you could use liquid glue here. I'm going to use tape just for the sake of the video. It goes a little bit faster, I think. Pull that off. And now all I'm going to do is just bend that back over it. And then on the back piece, which is actually going to go down to the front, we're going to put a piece of tape on this piece. So I am going to run a piece of tape from this side all the way over to that side. And then I'm going to bring our box back, and remember we did front and back on this. This is where this piece is going to get glued right on that score line, just like that. So that's going to go down in here to the front, just like so. Now it helps me sometimes if I clip. And I've got these little binder clips, and I'm just going to bind this together. And all that's going to do is just hold this in place so that when I put this down right on that score line, I can press it and everything should line up really, really well. I saw one little... I guess it's good. Okay, so now I want to pull off this backer. And then on the front side, I'm going to glue this piece down. And what you want to do is make sure that this piece butts against that score line but does not impede it or go over it. And once you get that, just press it in. You can take your clips off now. And now when we put our I got this right. And you know what I did? This should have, oh, no, I think that's right. This is still our front. Okay, I think I got that right. So when we close this together, that's going to all come together just like that. But we got a couple more things we need to do before we actually glue anything together. And that's going to be to put our pull tab on here. So now the next thing that we need to do is to cut our pull tab that's going to go on here. So I'm going to turn this way because we're going to be gluing it on the back side of this. So if you notice, this is our back, so this is going to cover over, so it's going to pull from the back. So just make sure that you're laying everything toward the front, just like this. All right, so let's get our trimmer. And all we need for this is a piece that is 1 inch. So I'm going to take it to 1 inch. And I'm using the right side of my my trimmer. And cut off 1 inch. And then we need this to be 1 by 6. So I'm going to bring it over to the 6 inch mark and slice. So that is our piece. Well, we need to score it. I almost forgot. We need to score in 2 places. So we're going to score it 1 inch and 1.5. So I'm just going to use this right side of my. You could put this in your scoreboard and just score it at 1 inch and 1.5, and it would be the same thing. So don't fret over that. It will work either way you do it. So I'm going to go ahead and fold these score lines, and then I'm going to take my corner rounder, and I want to corner round these. And this one might be a little bit. I tell you what, it's hard to do a piece that small, so I'm going to grab my corner chomper, and I'm going to do this one on the 1/4 inch because this is a small piece. So I don't think we need it all the way over. So I'm going to put this in about here and chomp and chomp. Just around those edges and kind of give it the same look that we have on the top of this. So now to put this in, I am going to fold this over. I am going to line this up to where that 1 inch score line, which is the last one if you've got it like this with the longer piece to the left. And I want this to go right about here. And I'm just kind of eyeballing where I want that to be. And now I'm going to turn it over because I want this to be on the underside. And this is where I'm going to take my tear and tape, and I'm going to put 2 strips of tear and tape. And don't want to go over top of any score line, so just come up here to the top. And oops, I wanted to twist on me. I'm going to burnish this down really good, and then pick up I don't know if when you misplace something, if it drives you insane or if it's just my type A personality, but I absolutely go bonkers when I misplace something, and I usually go on this frenzy hunt until I find it. It is so frustrating to me when I misplace things, especially something that I need to use. Alright, so I got that tape off of the back, and now I am going to eyeball where I want this, and I'm going to make sure I do it from the top because I want to be mindful of that fold that's going to fold over. So once I got it where I want it, I'm going to press it down, and now when we close our box up like this and we pull our tab, our pieces are going to come out like that and back in. Alright, so the next thing we need to do now is looking at our front. Looking at the front of it, we are going to put down some tape. trying to make sure that this is thinking that this piece needs to go on your front where you've got your two pieces. I'm going to put a piece of tape on that last piece, or you could do glue. Well, there's my other thing I was looking for. I was looking for this, I was absolutely looking for that when I have misplaced my, my little block. So, find one thing and lose another. Story of my life, y'all. It seems like it's so easy on your craft desk to misplace things. I'm sure you know exactly what I'm talking about. So easy to lay some little something over to a different side and then you just totally overlook it. And I'm sure that's what I'm doing. Let me look back in my drawer because something says I may have stuck it back in my drawer for safekeeping. Well, wherever it is, I'm sure it's very safe because it's out of my hands. Oh, goodness. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and try to work without it for right this minute, and then hopefully it's going to turn up somewhere. I still want to think. I'm going to look in this one more time. I'm really thinking that I may have put it in here. Nope, I'm not seeing it in there. Alright, I'm just going to go ahead and tape this down, and all I'm going to do is on this, as you pull this up like this, see, like I said, none of this is going to show because it's going to be in the box, but I'm going to put a piece of tape right there just to hold this in place. I think this will make everything go together a lot better. So open it up, and right there on that last score line that's actually glued down on the other side, go ahead and put a piece of your tearing tape right over top. Like that. I'm going to varnish that down really well, and then I am going to lift up my backer, and then I'm going to very gently bring that piece down on top. I think that's going to make everything come back together a lot easier. Yep, that works so much better. So now what we need to do is on your piece that says front, you're going to want to take your tear and tape one more time, and we're going to put tape on the front sides of our box on these side tabs. So just lay your tape down and run it all the way to the end. Cut it. Burnish it really well. Now we're ready to go ahead and close our box up. So when you get ready to close it, just make sure that everything is in place. Just like that. I like to bring my back up, my tabs in. And then fold that part down. Now once I get that completely like I want it, I am going to sit this raw edge on the side of the box right down here into that score mark and just kind of hold it. And while you're holding it, use your pick. So what you want to make sure is that this is lined up right in the ditch of that fold line. So I like to hold mine while I take take your pick tool or anything sharp that you can pull up the edge, and I will hold that in place. And then again, just re-line that in that ditch, and once you got it, then press it up, and that secures that side. Now we're going to turn it over and we're going to do the same thing on this side. We're going to get that lined up just like we want it. Make sure your top edges are together and that your bottom is nice and squared. Do the same thing. I'm going to lift up my two-sided tape, or my backer off of my two-sided tape. And pull. Again, I'm going to make sure that that is lined up in the ditch of that fold line, and then I'm going to press up on it, just like that. So now our little mechanism is in, and it works. In and out, very simple. So now we get the fun part, and that's decorating our cute little box. So at this point, you can decide if you want to put anything on this part. If you wanted to cover up this mechanism, this would be a great place to put a mat. Totally up to you. I'm not going to do that today. I basically wanted to show you how to build this particular item and how to make it absolutely beautiful. So the other thing that I want to do is let's grab some of this pretty paper. So let's see if this piece looks longer. Now it's not quite wide enough, but I love that particular pattern, and that's on the yellow one. So let's go. Oh, that one's pretty. That has more of the mint macaron in it. So I'm going a-hunting for me. There it is. So, oh, that one's pretty too. This one has a lot of the misty moonlight. So let's see. I am still partial to this one. Yeah, I think I'm going to use that one. So what I want to do is I want to measure the front of this, and then I want to make sure that I'm allowing a 1/4 inch, which will give me 1/8 of an inch all the way around. So there it's 4.5 by 6.5. So I'm going to go 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. So let's get our trimmer out. So 4 1/4. And I'm going to open up my arm because we're going to need to go to 6 1/4. And 6 1/4 is right there. Make sure. I think I did this once before. I put this on 6 1/4, yeah, and it goes right to that line right there. Okay, so 6 1/4. And I think that would be the right side. So that's going to live on the front of our box, just like so. Isn't that gorgeous? And I'm thinking for my pocket, I think I'm going to go with the Misty Moonlight. I still love that Misty Moonlight. So let's, or could we do the Petal Pink? No, Toby. Toby just heard a truck go down the road, and of course he's rah, 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 rah. My little guard dog. Alright, I am going to try to decide what do I want to do my pocket with, and I think I am going to go with the Misty Moonlight. I just like the way that looks. I think it's so pretty. So I'm going to look and see if I have a scrap that's big enough to do my pocket from. Toby? He is really showing himself. He is just my little mess pot. And he's going to protect me. I'm sure in his mind that's what he's doing. So let's see. I can't find... Alright, let me regroup and I'll be right back. I'm not sure what just happened, but I had a blip on my memory card. I am so in hopes that this is going to be there when I pull it out and put it in my computer. So here we go. Anyway, this is from the Nature's Harvest stamp set and the Harvest dies. And all I did was colored this with some alcohol markers. And I think this would be so pretty popped up right here on top. And we're going to put a little thing at the bottom, maybe a give thanks or something like that. So let me grab my dimensionals. I think we might need the little ones and the big ones for this. So I'm going to use my big ones first, and I'm going to place those on the larger parts of my flower. And check and make sure, yeah, that nothing's showing, so that's what I wanted to make sure. So then I'm going to come in with the smaller ones. Love the little mini ones because they're so nice to be able to put in little tiny spots that you normally would not be able to put dimensionals. And as I said earlier, all the products that I'm using will definitely be listed in the description below along with the order number. So if you're interested in picking up, say you want to get a pack of these mini Stampin' Dimensionals, that's all going to be in the description below. So all you have to do is go and click on the link that will take you over to my store, and then copy and paste the item number for any particular item that you might be interested in. Maybe you fell in love with the paper. Maybe you fell in love with the cardstock or the stamp set. Maybe even the dies. Or maybe you're like me and you just want it all. You know, as crafters, we do seem to want everything when it comes out. We want it. We want it all. I'm guilty. All right, I'm going to place this about like here and press it down. Now I want to grab a piece of white cardstock. And here's a nice piece of white right here. And I want to grab a stamp set that will give me how about the one that says "So Thankful for You"? I think that would be really pretty right here. I might even do that on a circle. Let's see if we can find a little bit of a decorative circle that would make that just really pop. And let's see, I don't think it will fit in that one. So we may have to go, I'm going back to my Tasteful Label dies because these give me such a variety of labels. This is a great set to have. I think I can make that work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and stamp this. And I think I'm going to stamp it in the Misty Moonlight, just to kind of keep everything cohesive. Very, very pretty. I love that Stampin' Up! Has such beautiful images. Look at the font on that. Is that not gorgeous? I love anything that has a swirly font. I'm a sucker for that. I'm just cleaning my stamp off. I'm using my Simply Chamois. If you're using a dye ink like this was, this cleans off really well with just water on your Simply Chamois. So I love using that. Now if I was using a different kind of ink, I would use my scrub, my Stampin' Scrub, and I would put some cleaner on it. But you can, it's a good idea after you use your stamps to go back and clean them using some Stampin' Mist and the other stamp, I'll get it out in a minute, y'all. I'm trying to think about 3 things at one time, and my brain and my mouth just cannot keep up with each other. I like to use my stamp cleaner, my Stampin' Mist and my Stampin' Scrub, and give my stamps a really good clean after I finish a video or after I finish making a project, because this cleans them, but you can get so much better cleaning if you use that cleaner and the Stampin' Mist with your Stampin' Scrub. Alright, I'm going to take this over and I got to clean off my plate because I cut something earlier and it left some little pieces. Might be time to change my plates. What do y'all think? But they're still nice and flat. Look. So as long as they're nice and flat, I think I'm going to keep on using them. So I'm just going to run this through. And take it off very gently. I like to use these Post-it note flags to hold my pieces in place. Oh, that's so pretty. Yep, and we're going to put that right there. We're going to put Dimensionals over on this side and we're going to use some glue on the other side, or some Stampin' Seal. My dimensionals are right here. So I'm going to put 1, 2, and 3. Just like that. And I am going to use some Stampin' Seal, I think, to seal it on the other side. And I think all we're going to need over here is just 1 strip. And what I want to do is I want to get this right about there and there. I love that. And now we can put a tag in here, and look, I've got a piece that we can actually cut to a tag. So I'm going to show y'all how easy it is. If you don't have a thing to cut a tag out with, like a die, you can very easily make a tag by using an angle punch like this. And we'll use the large side. And then all you would need is a hole punch. And I'm going to use my crocodile, and this is what do they call this one? I don't know, but I love this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down here to the top, and I am going to punch. And now we have a tag. So we can decorate this tag. We can tie some ribbon or twine on it. Let's see what pretty ribbons we got that we can use. And we may just use a twine, who knows. Let's see. Lots and lots of ribbon in my little bin. Let's see if we got any of my new colors over here that we could use. You know what? This came with a Christmas suite, but I think this would be really pretty. Let's see how that works in the scheme of things. So I am gonna actually cut this off because it's fraying a little bit. Get this out of my way. And I am going to double this ribbon. Oh yeah, that's so pretty. Love that against the blue. So I'm going to cut about that much off. And this ribbon looks like it's frayed. It has that look, which I think that tattered look is great for a fall card or a fall photo box. So I'm just going to tie that simple little square knot right there, and then I am going to try my best to execute a bow. And that's why I tried to give myself enough of ribbon so that I could successfully do that. Looks a little shabby, but I think we can get by with it. What do you think? Now we're going to trim this off. And trim it off over here. And then we can stick that down like that. That is so cute. And we could put something else on here. You can decorate it however you see fit. But now we're ready to put this onto our box, and I'm going to use some liquid glue to do that. So let's do right here. I'm putting my hand inside of it just to give me some stability to press that down. And there is the front of our box. Now the last thing that we need to do is, and this is going to tuck into the front like that. So that's just going to be out of our way. We need to do the top of our box. So I'm going to do it also in the Misty Moonlight. And the lid is going to measure 5 5/8 by 3 5/8. So I'm going to do the 3 5/8 first. So, and I'm going to try to show you. Let's see if I can zoom y'all in. I know a lot of you struggle with the 8s, but on this trimmer, this one has 16ths. And how you know what your trimmer has, count how many tick marks there is between 1 inch and 2 inches, or 3 inches and 4 inches, as long as you're counting a 4. So 3/8 would be 3 3/8. Is that what I said? 3 5/8. Okay, 5/8. So we go 1, 2. 2/8 would be a quarter. So 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's our 5/8. So I'm going to go ahead and slice that. I hope that helped. Then we're going to turn it this way, and we're going to do 5 5/8. So again, I'm going to go to that second tick mark after, because this one measures in 16ths. So I know it's the second one. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to slice that down. Now we need to score this, and this is going to be scored at a 1/2 inch on each side of your 5 5/8 and each side of your 3 5/8. So in other words, to make that a really simple measurement, you're just going to score a 1/2 inch all the way around, and the other one, okay, let's do this. 1/2 inch all the way around, or on each side. I'm sorry, I told y'all wrong. A 1/2 inch on both ends, so there and here. And then in here, you're going to bring this over to 1 1/2, so you can do it on either side, this side or that side. So there's 1 1/2, and you're going to score. And then you're going to flip it over and do that again at 1 1/2. And what that's going to do is going to give you that top of your box, where this will come right over top of our box. But we got to do a little bit of fancy footwork on that. Okay, so now that we've got all of our score lines in, what we want to do is cut out the pieces that don't need to be there. We want to keep this and this. Actually, we just want to wedge out this and this. So we're going to cut up on these score lines. Actually, I'm going to wedge it. I'm going to wedge out this way, all the way up to that peak, and then I'm going to come in and cut up on that score line and just take that little bit of bulk out. And we're going to do the same thing on this side. Let's cut up to that top corner where those score lines meet, and then just cut that out. that makes us a nice little wedge tab. So I'll turn it around, do the same thing on this side, wedge it up, and then cut it out. And sometimes those little pieces don't want to let go, so you have to persuade them. In other words, just yank it out. Is that friendly persuasion? I am not sure, but we'll call it a friendly persuasion. And that one came out pretty easy. So now that we've got our piece prepped, we're going to put some two-sided tape on it. So decide which side you want to be your front, and I'm going to call this my front. Turn it over. I'm going to go ahead and burnish down all of my pieces, all of my little tabs that's going to come together and form this lid. And you could have done this beforehand, you know, before you trimmed everything out, but I didn't. So just get that all creased and then do the same thing for the middle folds, those two middle folds. And now we are ready to put adhesive on the side that we're going to call the front. The reason I like to have a front and a back is I always like my front to have the nice flush edge, and I want my raw edges to go toward the back, like that. So I'm going to call this the front, and I'm going to put tape, my two-sided tape, on these tabs right here. Let's see. Yep. We're going to call that the front. It really doesn't matter as long as you put the tape on the same side, because it's identical on both sides. So I'm going to lay down a piece of tape and tear it. Do the same thing over on the other side, same side, and tear it. And then when you bring this together, you want to make sure that everything squares up perfectly. So let's go ahead and take our backer off. And I'm going to do the same thing I did to the side of my box. I'm going to line this up in that groove, or that score line. And if you, let's see if I can bring it up to the camera. See how I'm lining it up nice and even? And then just fold that over. And if it doesn't, you know, if it doesn't line up, hey, we got scissors. We'll just trim it. Sometimes with the paper, it might not quite be squared up, so you know, we just make it work. So don't be intimidated or feel like a failure if things don't always go together perfectly. That is part of the homemade process of making paper products. We're not cutting our stuff with laser precision like they do in factories that make cards and things like this. It is homemade. It is handmade. So we are going to go ahead and put a pattern on here, and I want to decide which pattern do I want to use. I'm going to pull my hand-pinned paper back over, and I want something that will contrast with the other paper. You know, I'm not really finding anything that, like that piece. What if we do the back side of this? I think that will work. We'll do that yellow. I think that would be really cute and a little bit different. So I love a contrast. So I'm going to take this piece and let me get my ruler so I can do a little bit of measuring. Okay, we know that this is 4 5/8, so I want this piece to be, no, this is 4 1/4. So I'm going to cut 2 of these off at 1 1/4. So 1 1/4. I'm going to do 1 1/4 right there. I'm going to grab 2 of those. And this is going to be our pieces for the front and the back of the box. Or the lid, I'm sorry. Our lid. And these are going to go on just like that. Nothing fancy, just get it on there. And I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal Plus. This should be a relatively easy piece to put down. So what I want to do is I want to gauge where I want it to fall. That looks good to me, so I'm going to seal that down. And then I'm going to do the same thing with this piece. I'm going to put 2 pieces of Stampin' Seal on it. And then gauge where I want it to fall. And then let's put this on. And there is our photo box. Now we have finished the box. Now if you want to put designer series paper back here, let me zoom y'all out just a little bit. If you want to put some designer series paper here, please feel free to do so. The other thing that we need to do is we need to make the mats that's going to go in. I'm going to do mine in white, and I'll tell you why. Because if I want to put designer series paper, I don't have to worry about matching. Or if I decide I want to just leave them white, I can do that as well. So we're going to cut 6 pieces that's 4 1/4 by 6 inches. So 4 1/4 by 6. So I'm just grabbing some of our basic white, and we're going to need 3 pieces because we know we can get 2 out of each sheet. So there's my basic white. And I am going to cut these at 4 1/4. And then line it up over here and 4 1/4. That was my daughter. I had to reply to her. She always texts me when she has a test, and she passed with flying colors. So I just did a really quick yay. And many of y'all know Jennifer because she comes in and moderates for me sometimes and does a fantastic job. And so happy to have her. She's off on Tuesdays. That was not the main reason I changed my video, my live till tomorrow. The reason I did it is because I needed to finish up this project before I moved on to something else. So I was planning on getting this one done, but I decided I just really didn't want to work on Sunday, so I didn't. I just decided that I would lay low yesterday. I spent time with my husband. I do my church service online. We have not opted to go back to church yet because of the coronavirus. Now this is going to be very simple with this trimmer to do our 6, because if you pop this over to this ledge, it gives you 6 every time. Such an easy way to cut your pieces with this trimmer. If you're trimming to 6, you never even have to look. You just line it up and go with it. I love, love, love this trimmer. It has so many neat features on it. I was using the Cricut trimmer up until I found this one. Actually, this trimmer is what got me hooked with Stampin' Up, because I wanted this trimmer. And when I was approached by my good friend Krista, who passed away last December, she started selling Stampin' Up, and she asked me, was it anything that I wanted? And I said, well, actually I do. I want that trimmer. So she convinced me to sign up and get the $125 worth of product for $99 free shipping, and I am so glad I did. It was absolutely one of the best things I ever did, because I love, love, love my Stampin' Up. Now I'm going to make these real simple. I'm going to corner round these. Yeah, I'm going to use this. I like the way this corner rounds. I've tried some of the other corner rounders that I have. This is my favorite for giving me a nice smooth cut every time. It might not be quite as easy to use, because you have to put your paper in, you have to press, but the results of my cut is just so much better. Beautiful. I love the way this one works. So you just have to get used to it, and you have to give it a little bit of a press. Just like that. I'm going to finish these up, and we come back together. We'll put this together, and we can call this done. I'll be right back. Okay, we have gotten all of our photo mats cut, and these, like I said, were very simple, and I corner rounded them like I told you I was going to do. Now all you have to do, and like I said, you could probably put 3 of these in each one easily, even with pictures on them. So you got lots of room to load these up, and you could put lines on the back of this. If you had a T-ruler, you could draw your lines, or before you cut these, you could take your 8.5 by 11 cardstock, run it through your printer with lines on it, make your lines, and a very easy thing to do, and then cut these out, and you'd have lined on one side and plain on the other. Put your picture here, and then when you turn it over, you would have lined paper so that you could write about what that picture was, what it meant to you, you know, just some little detail, so you would, a memory that you had. So all we're going to do is just slide these in. These go in, and like I said, I only did 1 per divider, but you could put in as many as the box will hold. And like I said, it will hold quite a few, but I did 6, 1 for each of these tabs or dividers, and we got 1 more divider right there. Or no, let's see, I think I messed up. Yeah, 1 here, and then 1 more. Did I miss one? Yeah. Okay, 1 there, 1 there, 1 here, 1 here. Yeah, I didn't know that one. Yes. And this last one goes right here. So that's how your dividers go in, and or your card mats. And then when you get your pictures in, you can just close that up and put your top on it. What a cute display, and like I had said, what a wonderful way to make these for Christmas, and put on the side here the year. Put Christmas 2019, Christmas 2020, Christmas 2021, and so forth. And you could also put something on your tag that depicts what this was about. Like this one, so thankful for you. This could be all of the thankful things that you're so thankful for. You could make these in so many different ways. Doing this for a mother that just gave birth to a baby, and put all of those first newborn pictures in there. How beautiful would that be, and what a treasured gift that would be. So it's just so many ways that you could do that. And today you can actually go on, if you're friends with someone and they post pictures of their child, you can actually grab those pictures, and unless they have restrictions on it, you can grab those pictures and print them and surprise them with a photo box. So I think that is just a wonderful idea. And like I said, you could put a piece of pattern paper back here. You could line these if you wanted to. You could put a piece across the top. So you take my idea, run with it, and make it yours. Thank you so much for bearing with me for a 2-part video on this photo box. So much fun, and such a nice piece to know how to make. So as I always say in closing, God bless and keep you. I love you all so very much. And until we craft again, always remember, put God first, family second, country third. As long as you put God first in your life, you can never, go wrong. Does that mean troubles will not appear in your life? Absolutely not. We are going to have trials and tribulations in this life. The Bible never says that we will have a rosy path if we follow Jesus, but we have the blessed assurance that in our afterlife, that life will be a utopia, perfect, peaceful, and pleasant. So follow Jesus today, and remember what I always say: let everything that you do and say bring glory to Jesus. He's so worthy. Until we craft again, I love you so much. Bye-bye.